Remember a couple years ago when everybody was scared that robots were going to take over the world? I'm praying for that to happen now. Ought to be a wash, too, for the robots. Robots are going to win in a landslide. You know how I know? There's 200 million Joe Rogan subscribers right now. This is a clip of Joe Rogan complaining that too many of his friends are labeled alt-right.
I mean, it happens with fucking smart people.
Right.
You know, smart people make that. They use that pejorative. These alt-right people. I'm like, stop. You're talking about people that...
Stop, smart people. Stop calling Joe Rogan. Stop dunking on Joe Rogan's friends and correctly labeling them based upon the political ideologies that they espouse. I like how he calls other people smart, like he's just the average guy. He's Joe Sixpack, calling it like he sees it. He's the Fonzie of the intellectual dork web. When in fact, everybody knows, I don't know if you guys realize this, but everybody knows, self-defense is for nerds. It is, man. Most of the people that fucking study it saw it in the Matrix. I happen to have a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and you are not in the proper stance in which to effectively engage your opponent. Joe Rogan learned Taekwondo because his parents bought him lessons, because him getting his head dunked in a toilet twice a day in high school was taking a toll on his self-esteem. That was back when his head could fit in a fucking toilet. Because self-defense is for nerds. I mean, how insecure do you have to be that scared? How scared of taking a beating do you have to be? Self-defense is for nerds.
That aren't even remotely alt-right. Like, don't do that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was a whole thing. Like, we had just the other day here on the show, you had the, Tim Poole's alt-right or whatever it was.
Josh Zepp's, yeah.
It wasn't quite that.
He said that to try to diminish what Josh Zepp's been saying about Australia, because he works for Australian media, and he's trying to be nice over there.
No, I hear you. Australia's scaring the shit out of me, though, I'll tell you that.
It should. And it...
Yeah, these guys are scared of Australia because they saw The Road Warrior and they thought it was a documentary. And not a future sci-fi, science fiction dystopian film from 1981. It takes place in a desert wasteland. That ain't even going to be what the future is. The future's going to be Waterworld, man. And it's going to be happening in 5 years, That's what's going to be, 5 years from now, that's not even considered the future. So, anyways, Australia, I imagine, is pretty chill, man. A lot of surfing. You hang out with kangaroos all day, try to get them drunk on beer. It's certainly not lousy with COVID like this fucking dump. I imagine as long as you don't go around accusing any dingoes of eating any babies, Australians are probably pretty chill.
Didn't Josh, and he lives there, and I think sometimes people, when they work for an organization that is going along with the government's rules and guidelines, and they think everything's good and fine, and you don't live in Australia, so you don't know.
Yeah.
We're all vaccinated, so we're free, and you're wrong, and this is right.
We are kind of free when we're vaccinated, because I'm in Vegas and I haven't been to a comedy show in weeks. I haven't even been on stage in weeks. But this Friday, I'm going to go to LA. You know why? Because they have vaccine requirements for shows. I'm going to go, my co-host is on the bill with Eddie Pepitone. It's Friday night. That's January 28th, 2022. Come and check it out. Go look up Shoebox Comedy on your Google.
Convincing me by telling me that people like Majid Nawaz are alt-right. That is fucking nonsense.
Right, totally.
That's so dumb. It's so crazy to call him alt-right, and to call Tim Poole alt-right as well.
Yeah.
Tim is, if anything, he's a centrist.
Yeah.
He's just a guy who, he was like a boots on the ground journalist for Vice.
Yeah, he was like all up in Occupy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had his little nerd boots on the ground. Yeah, and during Occupy. But then he felt, he got a little greedy, and so he went to Sweden. And he started doing anti-immigrant propaganda for far-right extremist groups in Sweden. And then he realized he could do the same thing over here with Proud Boys and Oath Keepers, because there's a fascist rise. There's a big rise in fascism in the United States, as we're all witnessing right now. Listen, Tim Poole may be a centrist deep in his little nerd heart, but you are what you pretend to be. That's what Kurt Vonnegut said. But you know what? Kurt Vonnegut was just one of those smart people. Although, to be fair, he pretended he wasn't. So.
Yeah, he was an Occupy Wall Street guy. Yeah.
It was like right there.
I know Tim very well. He's not alt-right at all. But he'll entertain a conversation with anybody.
He will.
Like he had... he had O'Keefe from Project Veritas on the other day.
Yeah.
And that's like, that guy's the boogeyman to the left.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the boogeyman because probably because he was investigated by California police for child sex trafficking. Some people might find that to be creepy. I don't know.
Even if what he's saying is a fucking threat, he's exposing threats to democracy.
Yeah.
Well, no, he's being exposed as a threat to democracy. He runs an organization called Project Veritas. Veritas, of course, is Latin for nice fucking name, nerd. It's a rat fucking organization that claims to be a journalistic enterprise, although they've never not been debunked. He's exposing threats to democracy. Well, he was investigated for voter fraud in Colorado. He got caught trying to organize voter fraud in Minnesota, and he bribed a woman to pretend to lie about being raped by a political candidate. And if you want to verify that fucking story, ask James O'Keefe, because he brags about it.
He's exposing real live corruption. He's exposing real live conspiracies.
Yeah.
Well,
and they're like,
he's conspiring and getting exposed. That's not the same thing.
Oh no, but it's Veritas.
But it's Veritas, yeah.
It's Veritas now. It's not Veritas. Yeah. So, if you want to claim that James O'Keefe is not alt-right, I got a little note to add. He once said that he supported abortions in black communities because the less black kids, the better. That's a quote. The less black kids, the better. That's a James O'Keefe quote. So I don't know how you're defining alt-right, but and I don't want to sit there and say that Joe Rogan is guilty by association, but I don't know.